mailbox post is installed in concrete. This method provides a secure and stable foundation for the mailbox, ensuring it remains upright and functional. To install a mailbox post in concrete, you will typically need the following materials and tools: a mailbox post, a bag or two of concrete mix, depending on the size of the hole, water, a shovel or post hole digger, a level, a measuring tape, a mixing container or wheelbarrow, a trowel, and safety glasses and gloves. Firstly, determine the location for your mailbox post, ensuring it complies with local regulations regarding mailbox placement. Secondly, dig a hole that is approximately 18 to 24 inches deep and about 10 to 12 inches in diameter. The depth may vary depending on your local frost line. Thirdly, place the mailbox post into the center of the hole. Use a level to ensure the post is plumb, meaning perfectly vertical. You can use temporary braces to hold the post in place while the concrete sets. Fourthly, in your mixing container or wheelbarrow, mix the concrete according to the manufacturer's instructions. Typically, this involves adding water to the dry concrete mix and stirring until you achieve a consistent, workable consistency. Fifthly, carefully pour the mixed concrete into the hole around the mailbox post, filling it to within a few inches of the ground surface. Sixthly, use a trowel to smooth the surface of the concrete, creating a slight slope away from the post to allow water to drain away. Seventhly, double check that the post is still plumb using a level and make any necessary adjustments before the concrete begins to set. Eighthly, allow the concrete to cure for at least 24 to 48 hours, or according to the manufacturer's instructions, before attaching the mailbox to the post. During this time, avoid disturbing the post. Ninthly, once the concrete has fully cured, backfill the remaining few inches of the hole with soil and compact it around the base of the concrete. Tenthly, attach the mailbox to the post according to the manufacturer's instructions. Ensure it is securely fastened. This method of setting a mailbox post in concrete ensures its stability and longevity, protecting it from wind, weather, and potential damage. Regularly inspect the post and concrete base for any signs of damage or deterioration and make repairs as needed. For example, cracks in the concrete can be filled with a concrete patching compound to prevent water from entering and causing further damage. If the post becomes loose, you may need to add more concrete or replace the post entirely. Proper installation and maintenance will help ensure your mailbox remains functional and secure for years to come. Always consult local regulations and guidelines regarding mailbox placement and installation. This information is for general guidance only. If you are unsure about any aspect of the installation process, consult a qualified professional. Safety should always be a top priority when undertaking any DIY project. Wear safety glasses and gloves to protect your eyes and hands from concrete dust and debris. Avoid prolonged exposure to wet concrete as it can cause skin irritation. If you are using power tools such as a concrete mixer, follow the manufacturer's safety instructions carefully. Concrete is a mixture of cement, aggregates, and water that hardens over time through a chemical process called hydration. The cement acts as a binder, holding the aggregates together to form a solid mass. The aggregates, typically sand and gravel, provide strength and volume to the concrete. The water is necessary for the hydration process to occur. Different types of concrete mixes are available, each with different properties and applications. For mailbox post installations, a standard concrete mix is typically sufficient. However, if you live in an area with particularly harsh weather conditions, you may want to consider using a high-strength concrete mix. The amount of concrete needed will depend on the size of the hole you dig. A standard 80-pound bag of concrete mix will typically yield about 0.6 cubic feet of concrete. To calculate the amount of concrete you need, multiply the volume of the hole by a factor of 1.1 to account for compaction. For example, if you dig a hole that is 18 inches deep and 10 inches in diameter, the volume of the hole is approximately 0.8 cubic feet. Therefore, you will need about 0.9 cubic feet of concrete, or about 1.5 80-pound bags of concrete mix. When mixing concrete, it is important to add the correct amount of water. Too much water will weaken the concrete, while too little water will make it difficult to work with. Follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The ideal consistency of concrete is similar to that of thick oatmeal. It should be wet enough to be easily poured and worked, but not so wet that it runs. Once the concrete has been poured into the hole, it is important to consolidate it to remove any air pockets. This can be done by tapping the sides of the hole with a shovel or by using a concrete vibrator. Consolidating the concrete will help to ensure that it is strong and durable. After the concrete has been consolidated, it needs to be cured. Curing is the process of keeping the concrete moist for several days to allow it to fully hydrate and harden. This can be done by covering the concrete with plastic sheeting or by spraying it with water regularly. The curing process typically takes about 7 days. However, in hot, dry weather, it may take longer. Once the concrete has been fully cured, it will be strong and durable, and your mailbox post will be securely installed. Different types of mailbox posts are available, including wood, metal, and plastic. Wood posts are typically the least expensive, but they are also the least durable. Metal posts are more durable than wood posts, but they can be more expensive. Plastic posts are the most durable and require the least maintenance, but they can also be the most expensive. When choosing a mailbox post, consider your budget, the style of your home, and the climate in your area. Also consider the size and weight of the mailbox you will be installing. Make sure the post is strong enough to support the mailbox. You may also want to consider a post with a decorative design or one that includes a newspaper holder. Mailbox posts can be purchased at most home improvement stores. The installation process is generally the same for all types of posts. However, you may need to use different hardware depending on the type of post you choose. For example, you may need to use different screws or bolts to attach the mailbox to a metal post than you would to attach it to a wood post. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing a mailbox post. If you are not comfortable with any aspect of the installation process, consult a qualified professional. Proper installation is essential to ensure the stability and longevity of your mailbox. A properly installed mailbox will not only look better, but it will also be safer and more secure. A loose or wobbly mailbox can be a hazard, especially in windy conditions. It can also be an easy target for vandals. By taking the time to install your mailbox properly, you can help to prevent these problems. Remember to always check with your local post office for specific regulations regarding mailbox placement and height. These regulations can vary depending on your location. Failure to comply with these regulations could result in your mail not being delivered. In addition to the installation process, it is also important to properly maintain your mailbox. Regularly inspect the mailbox for any signs of damage or deterioration. Repair any damage promptly to prevent further problems. You should also clean your mailbox regularly to remove dirt, debris, and graffiti. A clean and well-maintained mailbox will not only look better, but it will also last longer. By following these tips, you can ensure that your mailbox is properly installed and maintained for years to come.